So I believe, it's been a couple days since last clip, but I believe the last part we left off on was I was trying to take that, as the manual referred to it, the starting crank jaw nut off, and I was able to get it off with the crescent. Fortunately, there was a little bit of a rough spot and just some crowel put in there, and I was able to go ahead and get this off. This is what I was turning the engine over with originally. See, it's got that jaw in there. It's only one direction, clockwise. So if you try and put a pry bar in there and put it in reverse, it'll slip out. But it's threaded. So right now, the next step to taking the timing cover off is to pull off the crank pulley. I went to Harbor Freight today and I got this 3-pack. This is a 6-inch 2-arm puller. So far it's working pretty good. Takes a 3/4 wrench for the head. If I can see where there it is. But slow progress, as you can see, but it is progress. It is coming off. So I'm going to keep turning on this till we get it completely off, and then I'll bring y'all right back. Alright, we managed to get the pulley off. Really, even on the back side, where you'd think it'd be pressed up against that engine. Over 84 years, it's got pretty dirty, caked up. But shaft itself looks pretty good. I went ahead and started that crank jaw again, just so it wasn't loose on my workbench. I wasn't going to lose it. I am going to go ahead and remove that key, that shaft key, if I can get it to focus. That way I can put it with the pulley and I won't lose it. Because right now it's just, yeah, I think whenever I pull this timing cover off, it's going to have to, that key's going to have to be out. It just looks like a half-moon key. So I'm going to pull that, keep it with the pulley, hopefully not lose it. Alright, we're going to see if I can get that shaft key out real quick. See if I can do it without too much trouble. Oh yeah. I say oh yeah, hold on. I don't want to mar it up too bad, so I'm trying to be gentle with it. There it is. So that's just a half-moon key. Let me see if I can get you a better angle on it. Where the hell? Come on. Maybe if I stop moving it so much, it might have a better chance of focusing. So that large flat spot went upwards towards, I guess, the engine bay, and that large, or that, excuse me, that small flat spot actually is what rested in the key shaft, or the shaft keyhole. So now I'll go ahead and remove the, for my benefit, I'll put it right on top, put that key right on top of the pulley. So I'll go ahead and take that starting jaw off again. The manual said that there's 2 bolts in here on the timing cover that have to go exactly back where they were on the bottom left. So see if I can notice exactly what those are. Actually, now that pulley's off, we're going to go ahead and clean this up as best as we can, because it's pretty dirty at the moment, and I even cleaned some of it off. So we'll clean it up and see what we can do. Alright, got all the bolts off, got her broke loose, I believe, so let's shimmy her off, see what she looks like. Ooh, the inside of that is not good. Okay, well that's, all the gears appear to be there. Oh no, ooh! No, they are not. No, they are not. She definitely needs new gear, new timing gear. It's probably why I'm getting a rough spot too. So, I don't know how well you're gonna be able to see that, but the teeth all right here are broke, shaved off. As a matter of fact, they're crumbling a little bit. That's part of the gear. It won't focus. But maybe you can see it better like this. Well, good news. And it's good because I can allegedly get new production of this timing gear and the actual cam gear from Cantor Auto for only 50 bucks. But just to prove my theory, I did it just off camera. When I turn this crank gear, that gear should engage with the timing gear, but because this is phenolic laminates or whatever, and all the teeth are sheared off right here, it's not turning that that camshaft. So let me put my hand in your way. I want to get you a good angle. We'll try right here. But as I turn the crank, you'll notice that the cam gear does not move. Oof, hold on. I need a little bit more oomph. Watch those gears. Notice how there's no movement on it because there's no teeth left, and so it's not engaging with anything. So, well, good. That's really good because relatively that's simple and pretty affordable. So, heck yeah, we'll get that replaced. So it's been a couple weeks since I got the timing cover off, took a look at it and whatnot. Had to wait to get the new timing gear in. So looking at the existing one, looks they've got 3 bolts and whatever that this little spring-loaded rod is. It doesn't go to anything. I don't think. I'm not sure exactly what that does, but these 3. There it is. These 3 bolts here, I've got mechanics wire locking them in place, and they're just twisted, and you cut that off there. So I think what I'm going to do is going to cut that mechanics wire, take the timing gear off, and I'm going to put the new timing gear on, and I think I'm going to try and spin until the timing mark is where it should be for the crank. Because the manual I have didn't give me any other procedure, it just said align the timing marks. So I'm going to try that. We're going to see how that goes. So I'm going to take this one off, line it up so that the new one has a timing mark right there as well, and then spin it with the crank till it's about lined up, take it off, and then spin the crank to where it's lined up, then put the timing gear back on. So let's get to it. So the first thing will be to cut the mechanics wire, try and take that off. Okay, mechanics wire is off. The timing mark on the timing gear is at the 3 o'clock position. So let's go ahead and bust these nuts off. An important little note to myself here, this spring-loaded rod or whatever, this little bimetallic piece, that is pointing outwards towards the timing cover. So we'll set that to the side so we don't lose it. off just a little bit. There we go. Yeah, it took a little bit of convincing, but wasn't too bad. Again, the timing gear was in the timing mesh was in the 3 o'clock position. But now you can really see, make sure that you can see. The gears, try to focus, were just completely chewed off because this is a phenolic laminate. This isn't metal. Don't know why. Could just have been age. I don't know. But we got a new one that's also phenolic laminate. So we'll replace that. And we'll try and get her timed. I guess let me find somewhere to put this because this is pretty nasty. Just set it right in there for now. Get you guys a closer look at the back end of this. So it looks like it's just a normal plate on the back end. Interesting. I'll clean that up a little bit before I put the new gear on. Oh, okay. Thank goodness I didn't notice before. But there is a little key on the back end of the timing gear. Okay, cool. That'll help. Kind of. On the back end of this mating surface of the actual shaft for the timing cam, it had like these spacers. This one on the bottom broke. So I'm going to hope that isn't terribly important. Interesting to note, this new timing gear I got does not have a small key on the inside, so we'll see how that goes. Alright, that took a lot of finagling, a lot of going back and forth with the crank, pulling the timing, trying to align all the bolt holes. But we finally got her timed up. That crank timing mark is super hard to see, it's itty bitty, but we got her timed. I think now I'm going to go ahead and put that mechanics wire in here, put that little magneto or whatever it was back in, and then I'm wondering, oh, I also confirmed that the distributor shaft actually turns now, so we're in business there. But I think I might let the head studs sit and curl so I can pull the head and make sure everything looks pretty good in there, everything's moving as it should be now that we got the timing gear going. So we'll let that soak and curl and we'll be back. So last time we were able to get the timing gear on, get the meshes aligned, so it should be timed correctly. But when I did that, the engine got a little bit more difficult to turn over. I posted in the Hudson group on Facebook saying I got the timing gear on. Another gentleman said that when his timing gear went out, he had been driving and he ended up having to replace the valves, the rods, and the whole shebang. So I'm a little bit worried about that, and because of it, I think we're going to go ahead and pull the head, because that seems a little bit easier than coming over here, taking the fender off, the dust cover off, moving the horn, and then getting down in there to the valve cover. So right now we're going to go through and identify all the points that we need to remove before taking the head off. The air or the spark plug mounting bracket is mounted on a bolt just between cylinder 3 and 4 right there. The air filter mounting bracket is bolted to that bolt just to the top right of the D of the cast Hudson. The throttle bracket's going to be a little bit interesting. So it's mounted. It's got two bolts holding it in, one right here, one right there. We're going to try and remove that bracket just from the head and see if we can shimmy it out. We'll see how that goes. Probably won't go too well. This little condenser is mounted right there on this valve cover, or this water cover, and it is connected to this bolt right here. I'm assuming, since this is a positive ground system, that that's the condenser for the starter. As you can see, that condenser ties into that positive ground bolt on the engine, and then it comes back down to the starter harness. Not sure exactly how that ties in, but I'm assuming that's the condenser for the starter. Speaking of positive ground, right here on the driver's side rearmost bolt, we've got the bonding strap between the engine and the body, so we'll remove that too. Let's see what else. Oh, so this, I'm not sure exactly what this is, but I'll have to remove this hose clamp from here so I can lift this engine off, or the head off. I'm hoping I don't have to take the air inlet manifold off, but we'll see. I might have to, I'm not sure. The manual didn't mention anything about that. The manual did say that we've got these pry bar molds, so we can use pry bars to help take the head off. So I guess we're going to go ahead and start by taking off these mounting brackets and setting them to the side. So let's do that. I've let everything set and curl for a couple of days too, so hopefully that'll help us out a little bit. These are all 3/4 inch nuts, so like I said, we're going to start trying to take off this spark plug mounting bracket. Let's see if I can do this with one hand. Oh, good deal. God bless Croyle. Okay, so now that we know we can get that broke, I'm gonna set the camera down, try to put in a little bit of work, use a wrench where I have to on these long ones, use a socket where I can on the short ones. So from my knowledge, the spark plug mount has this little cable holster. I'm going to set this up here next to the cooling water fan, and all these nuts are going to get put in a magnet and set right here in the meantime. So we'll keep cracking along. Let's go ahead and try and take just a little bit of love oil. Try and take the air inlet mounting bracket off next. I know this isn't really the order that you would take the head bolts off, but I want to try and get all the brackets and everything holding the head down or getting in the way off first. Good deal. So I'm going to put the air filter bracket next to the spark plug mounting bracket. Again, just for my info. And now we'll go ahead and remove, let's see. We'll go ahead and start just busting these nuts, I guess. See how lucky we can get. Alright, I think I'm going to cut the camera and I'll come back in a minute when I get these all pulled. Well, I just cut the camera and I was removing that bolt, the head bolt from the right next to the cooling water return, and she came out in one piece, thank God, but she came out in one piece. So very, very grateful that it did not snap. But yeah, we'll be going back with the full stud whenever we reassemble. Just thought that was a little funny. We'll keep at it. Some more little info, mostly for myself. I believe that this is some sort of, it's an oil return for a gauge on the dash, I think. It comes up over there. And then you see that oil. Yeah, you can't see it, but right there is oil, and that lines up where that gauge would be. But anyways, the screw for the hose clamp came off pretty easy, and then that arm busted off. So I'm gonna have to replace this because that is no longer functioning. But it'll be alright, we'll get it figured out. I'm gonna keep on taking these nuts off and try to pull ahead here in just a minute. Alright, so even more news for myself. While trying to move that hose so it would be out of the way, she snapped because she's an ancient hose. So, for my record, the hose that goes from that oil valve, that oil T valve, loops around and it ties in right there. That is just below the throttle mounting bracket on the passenger side. Alright, let's get back to taking the engine apart. Taking the head off. Alright, back with another 400's information. For my information, those top throttle body mounting nuts, to differentiate them, I'm going to put them in the same spot as I've got all the head nuts, but to make sure I know the difference, other than the size, the rest of the head nuts are 3/4. These two are 5/8, but a quick visual glance, besides the size, is that these two will be the only ones that are castle nuts. The rest are normal nuts, but these are castle nuts. Alright, let's get back to it. Alright, I believe we've got the head completely free now. All the nuts are off and everything tied to it's off. So first thing I'm going to do is give it a couple precision adjustments utilizing a rubber mallet. Just try and break it loose, and then there's these nubs for a pry bar. I'll try and get on there with a good size one and see if I can get it to move just a little bit before I throw my back out. Alright, so we got a little bit of movement out of her now. Unfortunately, I'm coming to the devastating realization that she is going to be heavy. So I guess the plan now is to prop one side up, shim something in there, prop the other side up, shim something in there, and then just try and come off with it. And ideally, once I throw my back out, we'll bring her over here and set her on top of the workbench. Alright, it's probably going to take several tries, so we'll see how this goes. Wish me luck. I think my problem right now is I'm picking up on it uneven. I gotta try and bring it up evenly. Oh, okay. I lied. We're going to take a little break real quick because it is 104 degrees and it is hot. So we're going to take a little breather, come right back to it. Alright, we're going to do a couple more shots. In the time I was taking my break, it went from 104 degrees to it is now 106 degrees. So we're going to give this a couple more shots. We're going to give it a couple more shots. Hopefully we can get her to go. We will see. I think we're getting closer. There. Holy cow. Sorry there wasn't really a good angle I could show you guys that from. Okay. Alright, watch this sick curl. Watch me throw my back out too. Oh, good deal. Oh heck yeah, we're recording too. I did not want to miss that. Ooh. So let's look at the block real quick. Really no scoring on the walls that I can tell. Nothing crazy at least. Again, oh, there's a lip right there at the top. But seems like it's on all of them. Shouldn't be terrible. Don't know what that is. Have no idea what that is. But they look good. That valve right there is pretty crummy. So is that valve. This back one's got some crud on the piston. But they look good as far as I can tell. Let's look at the bottom of the head. Let me flip this over. Yeah, I mean, there's some crud on it, but it doesn't look bad. It doesn't look like any real oh man, words. Doesn't look terrible. That's what I'm getting at. Right there is some rust. I don't think there's a terrible amount of pitting. I think this is going to be good. This is going to give me a chance to clean out all the ports too, which I really needed to. So this needed to be done. I guess let me clean the block real quick, and then I'll try and turn it a little. In cylinder 4, I have really got no clue what this is. Carbon buildup? Oh, there's some rat turds in the bottom, so there was a rat in here at some point. That piston looks to be in one piece, so I guess, I don't know. I don't know. Carbon buildup, probably. It looks like a pretty smooth round edge, but it's not metal. I guess it's just crud, carbon, after all them years. So, I don't know. Cleaned a little bit of it. Yeah, I mean, to me, oh, and also that fills me with a bit of happiness. So I know that the timing gear is aligned right, because this should be cylinder 1. It's the front of the engine. That's top dead center. And my timing gear mark and my crank gear mark are lined up. So that tells me we're timed correctly to my amateur knowledge. But again, we're going to go ahead and turn the crank and make sure that all the valves are moving. We know the pistons are moving, right? Because long time ago now, when we let it set in ATF, each cylinder pushed out ATF. So we just want to make sure that the valves are moving and that none of them are bent. To be honest with you, again, amateur mechanic, hobbyist mechanic every other weekend, I'm just going to look for valves that don't move or operate that would potentially cause any stiffness. So let's see how it goes. So both the intake and the exhaust valves on cylinder 1, both of those move. I'll now be watching the cylinder 2 valves, verify that both of those move. So one of the valves on cylinder 2 is stuck open. I don't know which one's the intake, which one's the exhaust, but I'll show you. But this valve is just starting to move with the piston. This valve is stuck open, so I'm going to tap on it a little bit with a rubber mallet, give it some precision percussion adjustment, and see if that changes anything. Alright, so I think we had some fantastic news and progress today. Got the head pulled. Most of the valves are turning appropriately. The valves on cylinder 2 and 7 and I believe 8 have valves that aren't moving, but that's okay. We will end up replacing those, so I'll end up taking off the pretty much that side. Oh, pretty much fender dust cover, opening that valve cover and replacing it. Probably replacing all the valves. They do look kind of crummy even though they are operating. Again, really good news. I'm happy to know that we are timed correctly, because we saw that cylinder 1 was at top dead center and aligned with those mesh marks. We'll come back. We'll probably try and clean out all these orifices so that oil can flow and everything, because they're pretty crumbed up. You can see here, that's where that, hold on, let me think for a second. Yeah, so I believe this is the orifice for that oil tee, and that's pretty crumbed up. Same as over here, should be that right there, that's crumbed up. So we'll get that cleaned up, but this is really good news. Also, I had another magnificent thinking moment. Before, the reason why it was harder to turn by hand was because I am a fantastic every other weekend hobbyist amateur mechanic, and whenever I have it timed and the spark plugs are in, there's going to be compression, which will then make it harder to turn over. So she was doing exactly what she needed to do. I just wasn't thinking. Same deal as whenever we tried to free the engine the first time and I hydrolocked it by hand with ATF in the cylinders. She's going to run. She's going to be a great restoration project. Right now, just got to get the funding over time to get the replacement valves and rods and whatnot for these few cylinders. Probably replace all of them. But fantastic progress today. I'm happy to know she's timed right. I'm happy with where we are for now. And we'll come back as soon as I can.